Hey, how's it going? Hey, welcome. Yeah, so yeah, it's exciting actually. Oh, and we see like a huge kickoff today. We got over 2,000 people watching. Thank you, welcome everybody again back to NFTCON. Yeah, to kick things off, this is the first session here talking about building different apps, dApps, and services, whether it be for DeFi and NFTs. And yeah, I guess Harsh, you want to do a quick intro for yourself, and then we'll get Stefan from Truflation.
Sure, Justin. First of all, thanks for having me. So yeah, guys, I'm Harsh from Ethereum Push Notification Service, EPNS for short. What we are building here is the world's first communication primitive. And Ethereum push notification service is a misnomer now because we have Web3. In essence, what we are building is wallet-to-wallet communication, starting with notifications, which basically means that from now on, any dApp, any smart contract, or any backend can send communication cashlessly to a wallet address in an open multi-chain fashion, which means open means that MetaMask or Trust or Phantom or any other crypto front end, they can just tap into this decentralized network and they can show you these communications out. And yeah, that's a bit about EPNS. We are working with some very cool projects in Ethereum, including Polygon, Gitcoin, Aave, Uniswap, DYD, DX, and we are just now making sure that this problem of communication is solved. We are entering into NFT now, so it's very exciting for me to come over here and talk about it.
Great, and Stefan, I'd love to give a quick short intro about yourself and also Truflation.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody being here and taking time out to come and listen to us here talk about alpha and analytics. Yeah, basically, I'm the founder of Laguna and Truflation. One of the products that we've launched is Truflation. We started off with Truflation because with inflation data, and what we wanted to do was make available and provide transparency around how inflation is calculated and provide that to the crypto community on chain with the relevant data so that we can see what real inflation is. And that's sort of how we launched it. If you think about it, inflation was started back in 1920, and that same framework is what we're using today. And so that's, we're living in a world with mobile phones, computers, internet, electricity, and now all of a sudden here we are. Can we really build a reliable stream of data, taking a developer approach and aggregating real world data from sources that are online in real time and do a calculation and provide that via Chainlink online to smart contract developers that are looking to build using inflation, whatever product that might be. And as a result out of that, we've then started to get aware, we became aware of what the developer community is looking for, particularly around all the smart contracts and products that they're building out. And so we're just really happy to announce on Friday, so tomorrow, or this is an alpha, on Friday, we're going to be announcing our NFT indexes. And so we're excited about that.
Awesome. We'll definitely have to jump more into the NFT index as well. But yeah, we already know inflation's hitting hard. It's hitting hard on all angles too. So it's definitely a hot button topic.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually calculated to be 13.5% based on the basket that actually the BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, that they put out. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics says it's 7.5%. We actually think it's 13.5% based on that same basket. And we're sort of updating it on a daily basis.
Yeah, like a lot of the information is not how it is in crypto. Crypto's all on chain. You can find any information from anywhere and audit it at any source. So yeah, like inflation is going to be higher, like we expect it to be, but also for like the analytics of the blockchain as well as like being able to see that data set come in, whether you want to use it for messaging or using it for just analytics. I think that these are two core problems that a lot of the industry hasn't been focusing on yet. But the thing is about it is like for me right now, if you imagine going on to like OpenSea and trying to find a guy that's selling a Clone X, and there's no way to message him. I would have to find a way to say, okay, let me go to his contract, let me see where he's at. Go into his basically you can see who owns that NFT.
Yeah.
But it's hard to kind of look at it. And then also for the NFT projects as well, gauging your distribution. Let's say, for example, like Ape Token, that Ape drops with Bored Ape Yacht Club, looking at the inflation model of it and kind of seeing the analytics on chain. Like the founders will be distributed, I think it's like 22 to 25% over the next few years. How would that impact kind of like their daily distributions for basically their user base and everything?
Yeah, I agree. I think communication and analytics, that's one, those are two of the key things NFT space has to transform into. Like, for example, if I go and search an NFT project out, there's no way for me to detect the fake volume, right? Anyone can generate an address and can sell anything to each other till the price goes really, really high. And that's where analytics come in. Communication, as you correctly put it, like there's no way for me to communicate to a NFT project. More so, if I hold an NFT, I cannot communicate to the community members. I'm coming to Discord, and then I'm just believing that they have those NFTs. So yeah, the communication plays a huge aspect in making sure that goes away in the future as well as we mature.
Yeah.
I also think it's like the intelligence part too, as well too, being able to take actions based on the on-chain data. I think that's where real alpha comes, really based on whale moves or whale wallets, or even what's happening in this case. Just the true alpha is like just holding money in your bank. As you can see, 13%. That's the alpha right there. The true alpha. It's like now it's like it makes it seem like even my Anchor wallet with 20%, it's not even enough. It's like I'm only getting 7%, but that's actually just really, really good to know, especially on whether it be for DeFi, and then also we'll dive a little bit deeper on the NFT side to learn more about that too. But yeah, Harsh, also too, we saw with like, we had you at in Miami, and it was great to catch up with you again here too. In terms of the latest for EPNS, we saw like a few new updates from your guys' side as well too. Is you guys had like a new kind of airdrop or airdrop tracking and earning system?
Yes. We actually partnered with Ernie.fi. And we basically, what we realized was like a lot of us get airdrops and we don't get to know about it. And that's more especially true in terms of premium airdrops that expire as well. So we just partnered with a project called Ernie.fi. They basically keep track of all the premium projects that are dropping even NFTs or airdrops. And now we'll be just communicating to those wallet addresses when the airdrop comes. So yeah, that's in terms of partnership. A couple of alpha drops is, of course, we are going multi-chain. So we are going to come on Polygon very, very soon. And right now we are even deploying a testnet to another chain. We are actually deploying it to 3 blockchains. So we don't want to really say right now what will be next after Polygon. That, along with wallet to wallet, is some of the amazing news which we have. I actually wanted to do an alpha drop over here, but the legal didn't give me a go ahead. But there's an alpha drop. That something is coming in 2 weeks. It's like announcement of announcement.
It's all good. We'll have to get the push notification. That's what happens.
Yes.
Whenever I think of airdrops, I think of inflation. So it's just like back over to Stefan as well. It's like kind of like with the inflation models that you're seeing with the analytics. What type of popular popular areas are you seeing them use that data?
So, I mean, in essence, one example is really not in the NFT space, but more in the stablecoin space, right? So one of the examples is you have inflation protected stablecoin. So how do I provide you with airdrops associated with your stablecoin that you're holding to make sure that your purchasing power does not get diluted? And so they're going to protect you with that. They need to have a reliable source so that the smart contracts know how to inform the miners to mint new tokens or to burn tokens based on the inflation performance, and then how to distribute that to the token holders themselves, or the stablecoin holders. And so that's really one of the use cases that is becoming more and more prevalent right now. And then you're seeing it across other areas as it relates into commodities, right? Commodity prices. So you have gold-backed stable coins. So same thing there. How do I know how much gold is worth? What's the reserve? How does that contrast to the reserve base that you have in Federal Reserve, in other governments around the world? Okay, what's the benchmark that we want to hold to? And then how do we then mint and burn accordingly? And the real value is the ability to then do that mint and burn on a daily basis. So the cost to the stablecoin owner is not so big, or the miners, right? Because they then have to constantly mint and burn all the time, which comes at a significant cost to the community and the network itself. And so if they can do that on a daily basis versus all in one go at a month basis when the BLS updates the data, is quite a significant cost. And so how do we save them on that cost? Those are two examples. And yeah, how is that going to come into the NFT world? One example that we're seeing now is really around dynamic NFTs, right? So the growth of the whole dynamic space that is relying on certain data sets to then give you thumbs up, inflation good, inflation bad, for example, as simple as that. And so the NFT just switches up and down. That's a simple example of what is possible. And who knows where that's going to go, but I think that's just beginning to, people are realizing the potential of dynamic NFTs.
I'm just thinking of basically NFT distributions with like a 10,000 mint, but just one releases a day, two, and then there's like next day none. Like slowly.
Exactly.
I think Stephen has an extremely nice point, because if you think about NFTs, like we cannot really peg them to how much percentage they moved up and down in value, because they are not that liquid. So one way to do it is peg them to inflation, like this NFT has beaten inflation or not. So that's pretty intriguing and interesting.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it just made me think of like, for a dynamic NFT, just instead of doing a 10,000 generative drop, why don't you just do one that inflates over time? As long it's still not as fungible as like just having a regular token to be divided by like a million or anything, but it still allows for distribution over time. So even if companies are saying, hey, look, actually this would be perfect for like games, right? As your user base grows, you have more that's being minted. As the user base grows down, it retracts to keep that current economy from, not going into like a downward spiral.
And that's a challenging bit, right? So if you think about inside the metaverse itself, right, you can quantify the value of a plot of land in a metaverse, for example. But then how do you quantify inflation that's going on inside that metaverse? How expensive is this clothes, is this t-shirt? Will we have, Uniqlo inside a metaverse, or Nike selling sneakers? What's the inflation and the price base of those digital sneakers inside Sandbox versus NFT world versus Wilder world, right? And so how do you, that's another interesting element, how to play with that. And how do I manage inflation for the domestic currency in that community? To protect them against too much inflation. It's going to be really fascinating how this is all going to evolve. We don't know yet, but there's so many different permutations that we can go down.
Yeah, a few of my friends are arbitrators. So what they do is they arbitrage the data that's on chain. So they'll basically check out inflation and see like they'll check out holder amounts, they'll check out how much is the circulating supply, and then from there, if there's any daily emissions, how much it was, and they would estimate that it's either going to go up or down. So then they'll go into leverage positions and then also buy and swap from other exchanges. But like all this analytics, like I would say, like, what would be your, let's say like the main kicker for everything that we should see within the coming future? Like where do you think that is going to be coming out that's going to change the industry?
From an analytics perspective,
analytics,
I think that arbitrage that you're mentioning, right? All the different marketplaces that you have out there. How do I identify the price of a unique NFT? do I get the best value for that? I think they will all start finding an equilibrium where they'll be balanced out there, right? And once that starts taking in, it's then what is the swappability between the different NFTs, and how do we quantify and price that? And so I think analytics around that, insights associated with that, and then the history of it, right? Do you want to see all that history, which we already have? How is that going to be made visible? How much was this traded? How often? And I think the fewer the times it's traded, the more valuable it could become. You're seeing memberships, right? So the whole, NFTs is going into so many. We broke it down into sort of 4 quadrants, right? We see it sort of art, the whole social element, the gaming element, and then the metaverse element, right? And so what are all the permutations associated with those 4 categories? In some cases on the arts perspective, you have physical art where I have so I bought an NFT that's a physical neon light, which is associated with a digital NFT to show authenticity of it, right? And then there's just pure digital art like, BAYC, right? And then you have generative art. Well, that's actually generative art. And then you have music, the whole music element. Where's that going? I think there's so many different aspects of NFTs where they can go across. That's just art. You look at that in social, gaming, metaverse. I really think the interesting element is really around gaming. If you look at how big gaming is in the sort of normal sort of online gaming, Web2 online gaming space, how big is that going to grow? That's a huge economy already. What's that going to look like in an NFT environment? What analytics do we need to give us the insights and provide better engagement with that insight?
Got it. I for one, thinks like analytics first need to come to a primary level. Like for example, I mentioned like there's no way to determine if an NFT is popular or not right now.
Yeah.
Like you can sell an NFT to different wallets which you own, driving the price up. So there needs to be an analytics that doesn't just show the history. It can also show like where the wallet address, like was a wallet address very recently generated or was it active before? And based on that number of transfers, there should be a new calculation that will allow us to actually judge the popularity of NFT. Same for the floor price. Like a lot of people go for the floor price and they assume that is the value of the NFT. But the value of the NFT actually comes from the amount sold and not the floor price. It's just the lowest price. So that is one problem analytics can really, really solve. The other thing is, again, the volume traded. That can basically, if we are able to, or the analytics is able to detect fake wallets, not only the volume traded would shrunk down, and you can see whether an NFT is actually popular or not. You can also probably tag projects like which are not as popular, and you can then take a decision. Another thing the analytics can do is the owners. Like again, I can own 10 wallets and I can buy 10 NFTs of my own. And now all of a sudden, I can see that the NFT is picking up trend. But analytics can basically diffuse that. So I do think that those primary analytics in NFT, they are needed as NFT space is going popular, apart from communication, of course. So yeah.
One of the other examples I think is, what does a social graph look like for an NFT, right? How is that going to manifest itself? We're talking about bringing social graphs online on Web3, right? So taking that and decentralizing the social graph. What does that look like, and how does that manifest itself? I think we haven't really explored that, but that would be interesting to see. And I think that's an area we will be exploring, given how popular it is out in Web 2.
Yeah, I think that's also super interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick about that is a lot of the, especially, well, if you look at, let's say, like the social graphs like of NFT communities, you can see where a lot of the similar type of for example, I collect Clone X's, all the Clone X people are kind of gravitating and buying in similar collections as well, and see where that's going. As same with some of the more like influential people as well. You know, like they are following each other essentially, and you don't always have to follow like the whale wallet, but you can start seeing the alpha come from those social graphs as well too. And I started seeing some graphics as well too, where they're sharing kind of like who's within their network, and it's just pulling from their Twitter network as well too. And you know, I think it's a big giveaway, and there's a lot of data in there out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing is NFT aggregators, right? So I mean, you already have them inside the wallets, but how do I see what, you know, key influencers, what their wallets and addresses in the NFT portfolios could look like? You know, you can, some key influencers, what they're doing is they're publishing their wallet address, so you can then see their whole portfolio and what their commitments are to this respective projects. And that then either, ooh, I like what they're doing, I believe in that, and I want to buy into it. And look, they've got skin in the game, they own X number of different types of assets, I want to buy some of those assets as well.
Yep. Actually, you can build it further also. Like, this is a really nice suggestion, buying influences based NFTs or NFTs influencers have. But you can also base it on the wallet. Like, if a wallet has been investing in NFT and that has been performing well, then, you know, you can also have analytics track that.
Yeah, like there's so much data that's on there that can be utilized in so many ways. Like if I can just look at a brand new NFT project and see the trend of like, hey, look, 40 brand new wallets just bought this. We'll probably not go into that thing real quick. But before we wrap up, do you guys want to have any final thoughts, or how will they be able to find you guys, Stefan?
So best way is on Twitter, srust99. So super easy. SRUST99, and I'm on Twitter, Telegram, and you can find me with that handle.
Awesome.
Check out Truflation.com. Super easy.
Nice.
Harsh?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, guys, follow me at Harsh Rajat. That's HARSHRAJAT. Check it, EPNS.io. You'll get to know why Web3 communication is so important. And yeah, you can follow our project as well, which is EPNS project. Other than that, this was a fun conversation and really interesting one. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
Awesome, and yeah, looking forward to both of you guys' updates with the new update that you'll have to share in 2 weeks, Harsh, and then also too with you, Stefan, with the NFT
Alpha
track.
Yeah.
2 weeks or until 2 weeks, or if the legal team is asleep, I might just skip it by
of course.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Hopefully we'll see you in Austin as well.
You will, and look forward to that. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Justin, and see you in Austin.